For the first time in 46 years, the best of the best in the Sports Car Club of America return to the West Coast for the club's annual one-race battle for the title of champion in 27 classes. This year's three-day duel for the medals brings over 400 racers to California's Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca on the stunning Monterey Peninsula. It's time to seriously step up at the 2014 and 51st SCCA National Championship Runoffs.
All right, welcome back to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Coverage continues on day 2 of the Runoffs. Saturday afternoon action here. Hope all is well at your end. Hope you're enjoying our coverage all weekend long. We've seen some great racing here these first 2 days. More to come tomorrow. We've got another full day of action for you. Weather permitting, 8:30 Pacific, 11:30 Eastern for our first green flag tomorrow. We should be on the air for you about 10 minutes past 8. 10 minutes past 11 on the East Coast on Sunday morning to kick off our final day of coverage of these 2014 runoffs. Greg Creamer, Jeff Lepper will be back with you here a little bit later on this afternoon for Formula C and Touring 2. We've got GT3 action coming up, Randy Popeston. This ought to be a terrific race. 15 cars will go 20 laps. We've got Nissans, we've got Mazda RX-7, we've got a Toyota Paseo. We've got a Nissan Sentra toward the back of the grid, but you've got a really good variety of brands and approaches to this category as the cars come onto the racetrack to get set to form up for today's 20-lap feature event. Let's find out more about GT3. Back to Hayward.
GT3 are the ultimate sport compact race cars. These are purpose-built two-frame chassis with fiberglass bodies, mostly 4-cylinder engines in this class. They are fast, they are highly tunable aerodynamic race cars.
We'll see how good the tunes are on these cars. They're allowed to run the big wings, elevated 18 or 20 inches off the back decks of these cars. Up front, we've got from Colin Jackson's machine, the 53. That's a Nissan 240SX on the pole. Quick lap of a 135.996. That's a pretty good lap around here for a Fender car.
Yeah, it is. These are silhouette racers. Underneath, serious full-on race cars, front engine, rear drives, different engines and configurations there. Engines all based on stock engines, but hopped up like crazy. We see a 240SX on the pole, has the three-valve 2.4-liter 4-cylinder that they come with stock. I saw a Mazda RX-3 further back in the pack, Gary Bachman. I think that's a cool ride. And then there's a story, Rob Warkocki, last year's champion, has had trouble all week. He's back in 13th spot, crossing his fingers and aiming to come through this pack.
It's going to be entertaining as all get out to see if Warkocki can make a move from Frankfort, Illinois. He'll start back in the 13th spot. Jackson on pole from Langley, British Columbia, in his Nissan 240SX, the 53. John Black from Olympic Valley, California, the Murillo Racing 350Z Nissan, that's the 17. He'll start outside row 1. Third starting spot, second row inside, John Olson from Monterey, California. The Range Realty Nissan 240SX, local driver obviously in the 81. Mike Henderson in the 2-car from Alpine, California. That's the Mazda Redline Oil, Mazda RX-7. Some smoke was issuing from that car when they came onto the racetrack off of pit road. We'll see what Henderson has to contend with over the next 20 laps. Starting 5th at 28, John Goddard from Lafayette, California, the McKinney Motorsports Nissan 240SX. Starting 6th at 73, Dave Humphrey from British Columbia. That's the BM&M Screening Solutions Nissan 240SX. 4th row inside, Gary Bachman from Portland, Oregon in the 09, the Bachman & Son Mazda RX-3. And Jose Rodriguez starts 8th in the 59 from San Leandro, California, the Roger Krause Racing Tires Mazda RX-7. Row 5, Wolfgang Mikey from Santa Barbara, California, the 15. That's the Toyota Redline Oil Toyota Paseo. And starting 10th in the 52, Guy Lading from Woodside, California, in the Mazda RX-7. 6th row, the 99, Larry Hansen from Redding, California. That's a Nissan 350Z. Scott Graham from Irvine, California in the 6th, the SCOS Orthopedics Mazda RX-7. 7th row, Rob Warkocki in that 78 from Frankfort, Illinois, the Deerfield Hoosier Tire Mazda RX-8. Mark Weiner starts 14th in the 127 from Rancho Palos Verdes, California. That's a Nissan Sentra. And Bud Reichard from Seattle, Washington in the 11 car starts last, the AES Mazda RX-7. Safety car in. 20 laps of action coming your way here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. John Black on the outside in that Nissan 350. Pole sitter, Colin Jackson from British Columbia in a Nissan 240. Getting ready to go, Randy Popes. Here we come to the starting line to begin the GT3 National Championship.
Tire rack pole man Colin Jackson gets a good jump off the start in his 240SX.
Jackson holds the inside line. Battle for second spot. Your outside pole sitter Black giving up ground there. Looks like John Olson is going to sneak by in the 61 and take over second spot as he forces the 17 into the dirt.
But the dirt's got a lot of traction in this dry California, and it looks like Black is right back up into second. He's the chosen driver to win in Sports Car Magazine's Who Will Win.
The 53 car, though, pole sitter Jackson starting to open up a gap earlier as they head toward turn 5 on the first lap.
He got that pole by less than a tenth of a second. Top 5 cars all within a half a second in qualifying.
There's Mike Henderson in that black 2 car, that RX-7 that had a little smoke pouring out of it there when we saw him come out from the pace lap.
So far, so good. Sometimes it might be a rotary. It's
Could
an
be.
RX-7.
It is, yeah.
They sometimes will smoke when they're cold.
Yep, absolutely
Until they
true.
warm up. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what it is, but Colin Jackson looking strong right out of the box.
No question about that. The 61 of Olson, that's the red Nissan 240 there. Moving into third spot, holding down third spot. Good gaggle of cars behind him. Good fight for fourth and fifth now.
A lot of engineering in this class. Their tube frames, highly adjustable, hot engines that are finely tuned. And I saw a for sale sign on the Wonder Bread colored 240SX there, $58,500 for that car.
Not a bad ride at all. That's a pretty famous car, that 28, pretty well known in amateur racing ranks. That's John Goddard from Lafayette, California. As your leader continues to be Jackson in the 53, Black is second, Olson third in the 61, Goddard fourth in the 28, Henderson in the 2 car rounding out your top 5. Half a second the lead for Colin Jackson over in 2.
Looks like there's 2 cars in this race right at the moment, but it's early and we've seen how it can change.
Absolutely. Now these, of course, heavier race cars, not super heavy, probably what, 2,800 pounds, something like that?
Oh, at the most. I'll bet they're less than that, Rick, but
Could well be.
Unfortunately I don't know. Just a tube frame.
Yeah, and tire pressure, I would think, in these cars, absolutely critical, as you've talked about so many times here today.
Oh, you bet. You've got to guess correctly. The track temperature is up with the full sun, but the air temperature is down from all week, it being so much warmer, about 20 degrees warmer in the mid-80s.
John Goddard there in the 28. There's the 2 car, the 5th place ride of Mike Henderson. John Olson in the 61. Under pressure, Olson in that red machine, Goddard in that similar 240SX right behind him. That's that battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And then the 6th place car, Gary Bachman in that Mazda RX-3 out of Portland, Oregon.
That's a real classic body there.
Isn't
from
it?
the early 70s.
Wow. Down
Black's
the hill.
all over. He's got a good exit from the corkscrew there.
I was going to say, race leader is under attack here. John Black second in that 17, starting to sniff the lead here on Colin Jackson as we work on lap number 2.
Let's see if he can pull a draft down the front straightaway. Always interesting to see the horsepower comparison after they come out of 11.
Top 2 starting to open it up here on the rest of the field. The 53 of Jackson continues to lead. Black, though, right behind him, about 4 car lengths behind, and that's nothing in these cars.
Especially at the speeds they're going. But it looks like that lead car of Colin Jackson is making some good power. He's got a good engine in that. It's a 3-valve 2.4 liter. I saw him on the pre-grid back in the Nissan tent garage there, and it's a strong running car, obviously.
No question about that. The gap back to 3rd, about 2.5, make it 3 seconds over John Olson, your 3rd place runner in car number 61 as we work on lap number 3. So far, Colin Jackson, who started on pole, has not done anything except to turn in a great drive in the first few miles here.
Looks like Olson may not have a good race setup at the moment. See that line of cars behind him?
Yeah.
I think he's holding that group up. Not on purpose, it's just the way it's worked out in this race thus far.
We have seen some outstanding action today, day 2 of the 2014 SCCA National Championship runoffs. Just terrific racing across the board here. Occasionally you'll get a situation where one driver will dominate, but even in those events, we've had great action further back in the pack for 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 9th, whatever it might be. We've got drivers just waging great battles here all weekend.
Everybody's come to the SCCA National Championship to go for it. In these sprint races with some fabulous machines. These GT3 cars from all over are very sophisticated.
Mazda running order, top of your screen. Keep tabs on your favorite driver. 3rd, 4th, and 5th very much in play. That black deuce, Mike Henderson out of Alpine, California, doing a nice job keeping in front of Gary Bachman's Mazda RX-3. That's the 09 out of Portland, Oregon. Back one more spot, the 73 of Dave Humphrey. He's from Langley, British Columbia, the red Nissan 240 there. So you've got to, 3rd through 7th, really under a blanket right now.
Yeah, the last podium step is under contention.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're neck and neck at it. Looks like Henderson maybe a little slower on the straights, but with his setup, maybe he's a little better in the corners because he's on their bumper through the turns down there. Look at that in 2.
I think these GT3 drivers were listening into our coverage, Randy Popes, when you said, hey, my preferred line is the double apex in 2. The 78 in some trouble here. That's Rob Warkocki from Frankfort, Illinois. He was one of the drivers picked as a contender by Sports Car Magazine. Doesn't look like it's working out for him. He said to you, Randy, he wasn't happy with the car. They had problems all week. Obviously, those problems not solved today.
Yeah, he's had a tough time, first of all and most of all, with the noise limits.
Yeah.
He worked really hard on his car for that, even removed some coolers to try to make them work, and it can be that way. It can be that way. I talked with Bud Reichert, who runs the number 11 car, Mazda RX-7, and he'd had that kind of week where it seems like everything went wrong in qualifying. In fact, I don't know if he made the race. Did you see the 11 car on the grid?
Did not see it.
He might not have made it out in the race.
There's the 61, your third place car of John Olson.
Oh yeah, they're 1, 2, 3, 4. Well,
Yeah.
no, 3, 4, 5, 6.
3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are
Right
all
there.
under a blanket there. There's no doubt about that. Bud Reichert is on the racetrack, by the way. He is running. He is at the tail end of the field, but he has completed all 3 laps so far as we take a look down the scoring summary. As we watch this battle for 3rd through 7th, out of the corkscrew and out of 9 and 10, headed toward turn 11. Still the 61 of Olson hanging on to 3rd.
Do they still make Wonder Bread?
I believe they do.
I remember the commercials
Yeah,
way
I think
back
so.
when. Whole grain for me.
There, I know. You are. Randy Popes is the healthiest eater that I have ever been around. And doing this for a living, you don't see many healthy eaters, but Randy is in a class all by himself. 2nd spot, 3rd under attack here.
Yes.
The 61 of Olson getting heavy pressure from John Goddard in that Wonder Bread 28 car.
Showing himself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get the driver ahead to make a mistake just by threatening passes. It's a great strategy, and he looked good down the straightaway using the draft to get up into the mirrors of 61 car and put some pressure on John Olson. Olson's from Monterey, it says.
Yeah, he's a local runner here, no
Right
question.
here.
Plenty of local knowledge for John Olson in that red Nissan 240 here in GT3. Top 2 continue to pull away. They are about 8 seconds to the good over this battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. And now the 7th place car of Humphrey starting to slip back just a little, but 3rd through 6th very much in play.
Doesn't look like Olson is really holding these guys up. I think that's just the pace.
Yeah, I think so.
They're neck and neck.
I like that RX-7 of Henderson, that black 2 car. That's a cool paint scheme, I think, and a very swoopy race car as always. Those cars are just beautiful to my eye.
It looks slick.
Yeah,
it looks like very aerodynamic.
Yeah, no question about it. Black continuing to run in 2nd behind Colin Jackson. Olson there in the 61 3rd. There's the 09 of that RX-3. Race cars that you don't see on track much anymore.
No, the RX-3 was one of the early rotary engine cars pre-RX-7, whereas the 2 car body is the last generation of the RX-7 that we saw end in the mid-90s. Wide range of the rotary engine in Mazda cars.
Going for the 3rd position. Here
Yes.
comes Goddard in the 28. It looks like he's got him this time.
It's that
Goddard
same
to the
move.
inside of John Olson. And he makes the pass stick this time.
Using the draft down that front straightaway through what they call turn 1, which is really like a bend in the straightaway. He's got that 3rd spot.
So John Goddard moves to 3rd, and now we'll see if he can pull away from the 61 and perhaps take a run at the top 2, who have opened up again about an 8-second gap over the 3rd place fight.
You might want to come grab up this car. It looks pretty quick.
It looks pretty fast indeed, and I like the drive that Goddard's turning in. All right, let me ask you a question. As a guy who races full-fendered cars primarily, how important is it to get off the previous corner nicely to get a run like that down the straightaway? Isn't that everything in these cars?
It's everything because, for one, they're 2-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. You got to get them slowed down and pointed and then use that power like pulling a trigger on a gun to shoot you down the next straightaway.
Do you mash the gas in a car like this, or do you roll into it?
Oh, you roll into it, always. Even a Spec Miata with 100 horsepower, if you're on the limit, the tire doesn't want all that power at once. You just add the power as you're straightening out on the exit. Goddard seemed to be doing a good job out of 11, using the draft. It looks here like he's just playing quicker.
He is pulling away from the 61 car, now 4th. That's the machine of John Olson. The 2 car also a little bump and grind there coming into 11. Little use of the chrome horn by the driver of the 2, Mike Henderson from Alpine, California, trying to move around the 61 for 4th spot.
Yeah, I think he's quicker in the corners. So he's looking for that run down the straight.
The 61 car, Olson tries to close the door, but he's left it too wide open this time. And Henderson in the deuce will get by as well.
That was a great pass move. He really stuck it in there deep.
So we've had the second place runner, actually the third place runner, give up a couple of spots. The 61 car of Olsen had been third for the early laps of this race. Now he slipped all the way back to fifth.
Yeah, and I think that RX3 of Bachman could give him some trouble too. His setup might be going off a little bit.
As they approach some slower traffic here, Colin Jackson continues to lead in the 53. John Black is second in the 17. Jackson has pulled away over Black. They were running together for the first few laps of this race, but now Black about 3 seconds back. Goddard third in the 28, another 8 seconds back. And we check out this battle for position further back in the field. You've got the two of Henderson now up into fourth. Olsen in the 61 is fifth. Bachman there in the 09 continues to run in sixth position. Then Dave Humphrey in the 73. One car off the pace, looks like the 27 perhaps, was off the pace there.
Yes, indeed.
So the 73 in the mix of Dave Humphrey. So again, you've got, fourth through seventh under a blanket. The 73 with some struggles. That's the car, I'm sorry, the 27 car, we should say, with some struggles there. And we're looking for that number.
Yeah, Mark Weimer,
in the rundown.
number 127.
127 of Weimer, yeah.
On the grid here. What we're seeing is the leaders clearly faster. Their best laps, 36.0, 36.1. This whole group from third back, 38.0, 38.1. 2 second difference, even though everybody qualified right next to each other. So surprising changes in the race.
09 car, that Mazda RX-3, trying to move to the inside. Gary Bachman wants fifth. He wants to take it away from John Olsen.
Oh yeah, he took a shot, didn't quite pull it off, but he certainly put on the pressure, letting him know, I want that spot, Mr. Olsen.
Hey, a top three drivers get the medals, get on the podium here at the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. But to say, hey, I scored a top 5, that's a triumph. That's a noteworthy accomplishment in these races.
National championship.
Yeah.
Out of the whole country.
We're talking again about this, and you and I talked about this some during our coverage yesterday. Most championships are decided over the course of a whole season, 8, 10, 12, 20, 35 races in some cases. Here, it's one race for all the marbles, all the pressure that puts on these drivers who don't do this for a living. They do it very seriously. They spend a lot of money and effort to do it. But this is not your full-time occupation, and to have one race decide everything is just tremendous pressure.
Yes, it is, like the pressure Humphrey's trying to put on the RX-3 of Bachman at this point. And everybody turns everything up all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going for all the marbles. When you come to the runoffs, that one race sprint for the national championship, you go for every ounce of power, the best tires you can get. You study those track maps and give it all you've got. There's no long endurance here, even though the 40 minutes can feel like that.
Dave Humphrey in the 73 out of British Columbia. Good-looking red paint scheme on that car, on that Nissan. Trying to get himself out of 7th and move up a spot or two, but he's got a long way to go to catch up to Gary Bachman in the 09. That GT3 entry is a Mazda RX-3 trying to dive bomb on the 61 going down into turn 2. John Olsen's car not able to keep pace the way he was in the first couple of laps.
Yeah, and Humphrey was right on the back bumper of Gary Bachman at the corkscrew. Didn't get a good run down the hill, down the roller coaster ride back to 11.
Well, I think it speaks to what we talked about a moment ago. If you have a bad corner here in these cars that are momentum race cars, it can kill you. You don't get down the next straightaway well at all, and that's where you lose time.
Yep, you just got to be on your mark every corner.
Check back in on the leader meantime of the 53. That's Colin Jackson. Still out in front, working lap number 9 of 20, entering the corkscrew here. Stretched it out, 2.4 seconds is the advantage. He wiggled a little bit coming off that into that second element of the corkscrew.
Oh yeah, I think he got air off the corkscrew, off the waterfall, and just landed coming out of there. So he was hauling the mail on this run, trying to hang on to that lead. Coming off the tire rack pole, hanging on the lead in this race with John Black and the Nissan 350Z, keeping him honest, but not able to put the pressure on right now.
Well, the interesting thing to me, Jackson only out-qualified Black by about a 10th. There wasn't much gap between those two.
Close, less than a 10th. And their fastest laps are also only a 10th of a second apart. But it looks like Jackson's able to just keep doing it, whereas Black's average lap has to be slower because he's that much further back.
When you're racing, Randy Popeston, when you're working maybe with a new teammate or you're instructing somebody who's new to this sport, how important is it to teach consistency?
That's one of the most important things, because one fast lap isn't going to win a race. You have to be fast over the course of the race, and you've got to be able to make the car last.
And to me, that's always been one of the differentiation points between a pro racer, a guy who makes his living doing this, or a woman, and a good amateur even. You know, consistency is a hard thing to accomplish.
You really nailed it there, Rick. If you can do it lap after lap. When I run in amateur races, I see a lot of talent, and I see guys that can go quick. But I know if I keep knocking it out like a metronome, lap after lap, they're going to make a mistake, and they're going to come back to me.
Yeah.
And pretty soon I'll be by them. It just happens.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what a guy like Bachman needs to do, although he's making a mistake as I say this. He's got to just keep turning the laps and look for a mistake ahead of him. And now it's Humphreys trying to capitalize on Bachman's mistake into the corkscrew.
4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th battling for position here in GT3 out of the corkscrew, heading toward turns 8, 9, 10, and 11. Here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, the 73 looks like he's got a run. Check that, not the 73. That's the 61 taking a run at the 2 car. That's John Olson trying to bounce back. He's currently in 5th position after running up in 3rd spot earlier, trying to get around the 2 and take back 4th position for Mike Henderson.
Look at Humphreys down the inside of 11.
Yeah, Humphreys and Bachman going at it side by side for position as well. Bachman having trouble here, gives up a spot to Dave Humphrey. Now 6th is Humphrey, and we'll see if he's got anything in that Nissan.
That was a nice move.
That was a
Stuck
great
it
move.
right in there.
Absolutely. The 2 car running in 4th, that's Mike Henderson out of Alpine, California.
We're late enough in this race, about halfway through, that everything's good and hot and warmed up now, and we can see these changes that come out of setup. Humphrey's car seems to be getting a little better as we run.
Olson there in 5th position in the 61, Humphrey 6th in the 73, Bachman in the 09 is running back in the 7th spot right now. Oh, and the 61, Olson a little bit sideways that time coming out of that right hand.
He's a drifter.
Yeah, kind of looked at probably unintentionally. Sideways is not fast in these cars, is
No, but the drifters love the 240 SXs. So it's the right car for that job, but it means that his car may be loosening up a little bit, and Humphreys probably sees that as an opportunity.
Sure, I would imagine so.
Oh, again.
Olson in the 61 sideways coming up the hill that time. A couple of different aero approaches. Take a look at these 2 Nissan 240s for me, Randy. You've got Olson's car with just the blade on the back deck lid. Everybody else in this class running the high wing to get that air as it comes off the roof. What's better?
You know what? With the back of the car sliding, Olson could really use a wing right now. The wing's absolutely better for grip. It actually can cost you some top speed. Having that wing hanging in the air, just like it looks like, causes extra drag. So you got all 4 piling down into turn 11.
The 2 car of Henderson in 4th spot trying to hang on. Humphrey in the 73 trying to get around the 61 of Olson. That would be for 5th.
Not having a wing is going to help Olson down this straightaway. But on Mazda Raceway, there aren't many straightaways.
Yeah,
it's
not many
about
long. That's the only long straightaway in the place.
Yeah, you're really better off with a wing.
Yeah, and that's an interesting, to me, concept for the 61 to come in here. I mean, you could conceivably run the wing at some tracks and not at other tracks. I would think this is a place where you'd certainly want that rear downforce.
Next year at Daytona, maybe not.
Maybe
because
not.
the straightaways are incredibly long and a high percentage of the circuit. Mazda Raceway, turn 3, turn 4, this is a fast one. You need that wing to glue the back of your car. But Olson's not hurting. He seems to really have good balance and good grip even without the wing.
11 laps in the books, 9 to go. Working lap 12 in the GT3 National Championship, the 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Our coverage will continue live in just a moment.
The 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs are being brought to you in HD by Mazda. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. And by Hankook, driving emotion.
Some people go to enormous lengths in the name of safety, like the inventor of the flame-resistant racing suit, Bill Simpson. Courageous engineering is also the Mazda way, and why the 2014 Mazda 3 has an available class-exclusive suite of 8 safety features and a top safety rating. Because when it comes to safety, you can never go too far. This is the 2014 Mazda 3. What do you drive?
This is Kenny. Kenny is a dentist, but he races autocross on the weekends. But he's not thinking about his tires right now. Kenny buys all his tires from TireRack.com. Using their exclusive test track reviews, he knows he's always getting the right tires for his car. But Kenny's not thinking about tires right now. Kenny's thinking, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. This is awesome. TireRack.com, proud sponsor of the Tire Rack SCCA National Solo Program.
The machines and their manufacturers span the planet. This is no spec series. Diversity breeds excellence and brings battle. Ride with the best and test the iconic circuits of North America. No pit stops, no quarter. The world watches and knows this is how racing should be.
Welcome back to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Coverage of the 2014 SCCA National Championship runoffs. In the corkscrew, the 73 of Dave Humphrey making a move to take fourth away from Mike Henderson. Randy Popes, Humphrey is on the button here.
Man, another great pass for Humphrey. He sticks it underneath that RX-7, and he brings Olson with him.
John Olson not giving up by any means after running in the top three earlier. Olson on the charge back, it appears.
Surprising. It looks like the RX-7 has faltered a bit later in the race, and Humphrey, his setup is working as the tires get good and hot. He's getting better and better.
Great racing here in GT3 as the Saturday afternoon coverage rolls on from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca with Randy Pope, Stybreak Benjamin, Hayward Wagner on our pit coverage all weekend long. Down into turn 2. There's the 61 car of Olson, picking up a spot back into the top 5 now behind Humphrey. And the 2 car of Mike Henderson also putting on a lot of pressure up in front. Your top 2 just separated by 1.2 seconds. This has been the best race on the track for much of the afternoon thus far, but the top 2 have a good fight going themselves right now, working lap 14.
I've snuck an eyeball over here, and the John Black Nissan 350 has been a little quicker than the leader Colin Jackson for a while. So he's been reeling him in. Obviously, we got a race for the lead.
Coming down out of the corkscrew.
Could be a tire issue. We've got a lot of heat in terms of the track temperature, Rick, and that's an issue. And it's getting late in the race. We're about 13, 14 laps into this, and Jackson is not running the pace he was. Black is coming.
Lap traffic is a factor here on the front straightaway. This will be lap 14. There will be 6 to go. The 15 car at the tail end of this 15 car field. The 53 has led all the way so far. Want to give a call to Wolfgang Mikey out of Santa Barbara, California, in that Toyota Paseo. He is a lap down and 10th overall in GT3, but there's the gap between your top 2, just a couple of car lengths now. Half a second, according to timing and scoring, as they flashed across the start-finish line just a few moments ago.
Seen Mikey and that Toyota at the runoffs for years.
Yeah.
He's a longtime stalwart of SCCA competition.
Colin Jackson has led all the way thus far, but this one is far from over as John Black out of Orange Valley, Olympic Valley, California, starts to put the heat on in second spot.
That Jackson had quite a lead, and John Black has been just chipping away at it. He took another 7/10 out of that lead on the last lap, and we've got a long way to go, frankly. And I think Black's going to get him. We're going to wait and see what happens, but he's been coming for a long time.
Up the hill, head into the corkscrew. Still the 53 of Jackson out in front. Black 17 car in second spot. Right on him now as they enter the corkscrew.
Look at that entry speed.
Oh,
he over-rotated
it
though, didn't he?
I think he pushed it a little too hard and went way wide on the exit.
He did. Lost about a second.
And that will kill you. You know, you start to smell blood in the water. You start to press a little bit too hard sometimes, and you can shoot yourself in the foot in a huge way.
Don't get greedy out there. Come on, John Black. Catching a guy and passing a guy are 2 different things, Rick, as you have told me time and again.
No, you have it the other way around. You're imparting the wisdom here. I'm just the student.
I am?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, Grasshopper.
Down into 2. Leader continues to be Colin Jackson from Langley, British Columbia in that 53 car.
Wow, John Black was right there, but he may have overcooked it a little bit. I've seen him leaving some black marks even in that gentle bend coming into 3.
Race tires do not like to be sideways. This is a general rule, dude.
Yes, slideways coming off a 3.
Battling for position here, the 09 of the 2 car, Mike Henderson, getting passed by Gary Bachman for 6th. So Henderson, who had been up as high as 4th earlier, was challenging for 3rd. Now dropping all the way back to 7th spot as Bachman finally gets by in that Mazda RX-3.
Let's hear it for the vintage racers.
Absolutely.
This group's still tightly packed, but Dave Humphrey has come on strong in the second half of the race.
Like to see what he could do if there was a full course yellow. Not that we want anybody to have a problem that would bring out a full course caution, but bunching the field back up with 5 to go could create some fun here.
If we look at the times, Humphrey was quicker than John Black on the last lap.
John Goddard in the 28, all by himself in 3rd, 27 seconds back. Top 2 separated by 1.2 seconds, then you've got 25 seconds back to 3rd place. So basically, without a caution, this is a 2-car race at the front. Goddard all by himself, hoping to make the podium and earn at least a bronze medal here today. But we still have, it'll be lap 16, 4 to go next time by.
Look at that, another change in the complexion of this race. Jackson back in the lead again. John Black not able to keep the pace.
No.
Looks like he might have used up a little too much tire getting to Colin Jackson. Colin may have eased back, tried to get his tires back under him. It's so important to manage tires. It seems no matter what the car, what the race, you got to take care of them and not overheat them.
Jackson's lead 1.2 seconds exactly last time by the start-finish stripe as the laps wind down, working lap 17 of 20. Another national championship about to be decided here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. Coming up, 2 more events for you this afternoon. Greg Creamer, Jeff Lepper will have the call of Formula C, and then Touring 2 to wrap things up. Tomorrow morning, Greg and Jeff will open up with Touring 4 and B-Spec, followed by Formula V. Randy and I will have GT1 for you coming up mid-morning tomorrow, followed by Formula 500. Then Greg and Jeff will come back from Spec Racer Ford and Formula 1600. We'll have H Production and Formula A to close out the day on Sunday. And those some high-powered race cars. We get to do GT1 and Formula Atlantic tomorrow. That'll be pretty cool, my friend.
It'll be cool. And Dave Humphrey looking really smooth. In fact, Goddard has come into view here. Maybe he can get to him and get on the podium.
5 seconds is the gap right now. We'll see what he can do with it.
And he's got, what, 4 laps to do it in?
Not quite 4. Yeah, working lap 17 of 20 right now. So not quite 4 laps.
That's a long way to go in just 4 laps.
About 10 miles of racing.
He's hooked up.
Yeah, he is.
He's still got his tires underneath him.
No doubt about that. John Olson there in the 61. Top 3 contender earlier has slipped back now, hanging on to 5th. Oh, and Humphrey drags the brakes big time, smoking the tires going into the corkscrew.
Oh yeah, if you flat spot one of those tires, then it wants to hook up on that same flat spot every time you hit the brakes. Actually extends your braking distance. So he may be dealing with that issue right now.
Certainly could be as he exits the corkscrew in turn 9 and then heads toward 10 and 11 here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. So the 73 car still sitting 4th. Not able to do much with John Goddard. We'll see what the gap is this time by. 3 to go for your race leaders. Top 2 just 0.8 of a second apart now as John Black gathers himself for one final charge. We watch the 73, the 4th place car of Dave Humphrey down into turn 2.
Yeah, we got action up there for the lead. We got action back here for 4th place. And it's all about the tire management. I can see these lead cars sliding it more, but John Black has kind of pulled it back a little bit to get his tires back under him. And here he comes. Half second quicker last time.
Absolutely.
Well, there's that slide.
Black a little bit sideways. Not as bad as the last lap. We'll see if he gets a better run off the hill here this time.
Yeah, it's when the car's loose, you got to keep it right on that fine edge. And John Black's a little loose right now. He's working it. He's working it. See the tail hanging there?
Yeah.
Hard on the tires, but it's fast if he can keep from going too far with it.
Jackson out of turn 11 onto the front straightaway here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. There's your 2nd place car, Black from Olympic Valley, California. And that Nissan 350ZX. See what the gap is as the laps wind down. 2 to go for the leaders, 0.8 of a second. So Black didn't do a whole lot with the race leader Jackson that time.
Yeah, neck and neck, same lap time down to the 1,000th almost. But it's a man-to-man. These guys are both driving for all they're worth.
And doing a terrific job. This has been a flag-to-flag run for Colin Jackson thus far. Black has been able to hang right with him for the most part.
Look at him sliding there out of turn 3.
He knows time's running out.
Yeah, catching that car, you can see him dancing the wheel to keep the front ahead of the back.
And into the left-hander.
Need a little more front sway bar.
Jackson and Black still, and Black a little bit sideways that time out of 5.
He gasses it hard, and the car wants to get a little loose. that sliding can take more life out of the back tires.
Yeah, we know these race tires they're not usually very happy to spend a lot of time sideways in a car, that's for sure.
And they're not really huge tires under there.
No. This is not a big tire class, that's for sure, in GT3.
That's a nice run through the corkscrew.
Jackson's been really smooth there most of the day. John Black has had his issues there, but Black hanging tight. White flag will be out this time by.
Yeah, you looked beautiful through 9 with this drift all the way down through there. John Black back up on the bumper of Colin Jackson.
A couple of car lengths separate the two. They can see the white flag in the air. 1 to go at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca to settle things in the GT3 National Championship at the SCCA Runoffs here in 2014. Down into 2 for the final time.
Black is bringing the heat, but if he was 2 or 3 cars up, it'd be a little hotter heat.
Jackson able to maintain the edge of 4 or 5 car lengths, 0.6 of a second last time by. Black able to close down just a little bit on that 19th of 20 laps. We'll see what happens here. Can he get a better run off one of the corners? Does he force Jackson to make a mistake here in the final 1.5 miles?
I think Jackson is going to be okay if he makes no mistake, but he's got the pressure on him. It's got to be perfect.
Into turn 5, heading up the hill. Corkscrew coming up at the top of this hill.
Nice run out of 5 for John Black. You see how hooked up he was. He wasn't sliding it. Into 6.
6 and 7 here, and then 8 and 8A in the corkscrew.
Now this is where Black could do it. He's got more speed through the corkscrew if he can dance it through there.
National title on the line in GT3. Top 2 cars are 35 seconds ahead. Black sideways. That killed his chance right there.
Yeah, it's hard to drive an oversteering car.
I'm telling you that, Black has tried everything. Maybe he's tried a little too hard here a couple of times.
Maybe, or Jackson just has the setup a little more stable.
Colin Jackson's been just about letter perfect here in GT3. Final run to the checkered flag. Colin Jackson from Langley, British Columbia. Flag to flag victory for your pole qualifier, your Tire Rack Pole Award winner. Jackson is the national champion in GT3 in these 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs here at Monterey, California. Second spot to John Black from Olympic Valley, California. John Goddard should be 3rd in the 28 as the top 2 make it. There's the 15, the lapped car of, we saw Wolfgang earlier in the event. Wolfgang Mackey sitting in 10th spot in the 15 car. Waiting for your 3rd place finisher to come around. That should be John Goddard. As we take a look at the last couple of cars, here comes Goddard off turn 11, coming to the stripe. Goddard will take the bronze medal in the 28 car. Checkered flag waves over John Goddard, who finishes 39 seconds behind the top 2. Goddard from Lafayette, California is 3rd. Dave Humphrey gets 4th. John Olson finishes 5th. Gary Bachman is your 6th place finisher.
And where's Henderson?
7th spot should be Mike Henderson in that 2 car, that good-looking black Deuce, that RX-7.
Looks like he lost the group there.
Henderson did cross the stripe in 7th. Scott Graham in line to finish 8th. Guy Lading in 9th. Wolfgang Mikey will be 10th. Rodriguez, Mark Weimer in 12th. Bud Reichert only ran 4 laps in the 11 car. Rob Orkaki only ran 2 in the 76, make it the 78 car. And then Larry Hansen failing to take the green in the 99. So that's your order of finish in GT3 here today at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca.
You can see the tracks coming out of the corkscrew there where John Black loosened up on the exit. He was trying to roll in there. Last car's coming across the line. Wide variety of machinery here at the SCCA National Championship Runoffs in the GT3 class.
No doubt about that. Coming down the hill for the final time on the cool-down lap. Crews and fans will applaud the top 3 as they get set to receive their medals on pit road. Haywood Wagner will talk to the top 3 finishers for us in just a couple of moments as the 53 car of Colin Jackson comes onto pit lane.
Great job. These cars are serious race machines built around the original stock engine, but everything hopped up, including the engine. A little smoke there coming off Colin Jackson in that last corner.
That's a well-used up race car, I'd say, after 45 miles.
Yeah, doesn't matter anymore. He won the race.
You come here to try to win a national title, and we've had several competitors from Canada come and run here. British Columbia, kind of a hotbed of racing. And we applaud Colin Jackson and the rest who've come down from BC to compete here in the SCCA National Championship runoffs.
International drivers.
Yeah,
She's
absolutely.
saying, go up and talk to Hayward.
Jackson, your winner. Black finishes second. John Goddard runs third. Then Humphrey and Olson. The rest of the top five. Bachman into sixth position in that RX3. Mike Henderson, Scott Graham, Guy Ladig, and Wolfgang Mikey, the rest of your top 10s. 53 car.
See, he's getting ready for his back victory lap there, Rick.
Yeah, not quite yet.
But they got him.
Jackson and Black and John Goddard, the top three, will receive their medals down on pit road. In a couple of moments, we will give way to Greg Creamer and Jeff Lepper for the final couple of calls today. Formula C and Touring 2 up to wrap things up on this Saturday here at Mazda Raceway at Laguna Seca. Again, back with you tomorrow morning. About 10 after 8 Pacific time, we'll come on the air. 10 after 11 Eastern time. Hopefully the weather cooperates and we can get started on time here tomorrow. All right, let's get the thoughts of our top finishers in GT3 downstairs to Hayward Wagner.
Colin Jackson, your winner here in GT3. Colin, it's not often that a flag-to-flag win is nerve-wracking, but how much of that race did you spend looking in your mirrors?
Most of it. It was great.
It looked like you were able to just kind of set a pace. It looked like Black was able to close the margin. You could respond, step away. Talk about the battle between the two of you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing, just trying not to abuse the tires on a hot day. Had some great Avons on, and I had the harder tires on, and oh my, glad I did. Gave me the chance to strategize instead of just drive the wheels off her, and this car is awesome, man. This Special Engineering and BM&M Screening Solutions, just I can't say enough about them.
I was spending some time in the Nissan tent this week, and someone came up to me and said, keep an eye on the Canadians. They're not here to mess around. What does it mean to you to take a national championship back to Canada with you?
Well, this is my third one, and I haven't picked the win on any of them yet. So I'm looking forward to the T-shirt. So that's great. It's great to get a little respect, and SCCA, maybe they'll change their mind next time. So that's what we like to do. We like to change people's minds. So.
Well, a great race for you, sir. We're going to let you take your victory lap with your crew member here. We're going to step back to John Black. John, if you could step over and speak with us for just a moment, catch your breath. Was this a little bit of an exercise in frustration today? It looked like you had a lot of pace when the car was working, but if it heated up, it went away from you a little bit.
Yeah, it did, and there was a pretty good car there, able to catch back up with him. I think he had the opportunity to take care of his tires while I was catching up to him. And then a couple spots where I didn't expect that I had so much on him, I almost looped it a couple times, which then gave me that huge gap again. I had to work all the way back to it. And all that work on the tires just made them go away at the end.
Yeah, the guys in the booth were noting that several times there were just these big, beautiful twin black marks behind the car on corner exit. How hard is it to manage a car like this with the weight and the narrower tires in GT3?
It's a lot of work. I mean, boy, at the end there, it was just try and figure out how to drift it as smoothly as you possibly could, because you couldn't really stick the car in there. You had to get that back end out to rotate it and then just work with it all the way off the corner.
Well, big congratulations on the silver medal. I know it's not the one you wanted the most, but a podium at the runoffs is a podium at the runoffs.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, let's find John Goddard. Before we go away, if we can get a shot here of the rear tire on that car, you can see just how chewed up that sidewall is from that car moving around in its footprint. Wow. We've got John Goddard here with a bronze medal. See if we can grab a word with John. John, you guys had a great strap for the first couple of laps of the race, a really tight four-pack. You managed to get around the third-place runner at the time first, make a little distance. What was the opportunity to get through him?
Yeah, I've been dogging John Olson for several laps, and I think his tires were starting to go off already. And, I was starting to get a better and better run on him on the front straightaway out of 11. And I had two prior runs where I almost got by him, but the last time I cleanly got by him into two. And
was there anything that you like to see more than those four guys behind you continuing to scrap once you got away from them?
That was like Christmas and New Year's all in one. I pulled a little distance on Henderson after a few laps, and then I could see they were all going at it. And then all I had to do was just hit my marks and keep laying them down.
Well, it was a great drive, real consistent and smooth. Congratulations to you. Third place here in GT3.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
All right, victory lap being performed. Colin Jackson and one of his crew members taking the checkered flag around the Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca layout to the applause of the fans on hand for the 2014 SCCA National Championship runoffs. Jackson, Black, and Goddard, your top three. And Randy Popst, it was a good battle all the way. When you see the pole sitter lead all 20 laps, a lot of times you'll think, well, couldn't have been much of a race, but boy, I'll tell you, Jackson was under heavy pressure most of the way.
Interesting, isn't it? These races are relatively short, but so much happens, so much drama, a plot plays out related to tire choice and how the engine runs, and you don't know who's going to win till it's over.
Absolutely. Jackson, your winner. Black less than a second back in second, then Goddard, Humphrey, and Olson, the rest of the top five. Gary Bachman with a good run to sixth. He was right there as well. Mike Henderson struggled, was up as high as fourth early, hung on for seventh. Scott Graham eighth in the sixth. Guy Ladig and Wolfgang Mikey, the rest of your top 10. So some great racing today here in GT3. We've got more action coming up your way. Of course, two more races to come on our Saturday afternoon coverage here from Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. Beautiful venue as always, and just it's turned out to be a beautiful day weather-wise, absolutely. Tomorrow we are back with you bright and early. Should be about 10 after 8 Pacific time, 10 after 11 Eastern time to kick off day 3, the final day of the 2014 SCCA National Championships. Greg and Jeff will have the opening couple of events. Randy and I will pick it up from there. Hopefully weather cooperates and there's no fog bank to slice through tomorrow on our way into the venue tomorrow morning, but we will certainly be here for you all day long, bringing all the action, all the results. Randy Popes, has been a pleasure as always.
Thank you, Rick Benjamin. I cannot wait to see more tomorrow, and I wish I was driving in one of these races.
I know you do. Hopefully that'll come again very, very soon for you. All right, that'll do it for our coverage of GT3, part of the 2014 SCCA Runoffs, the SCCA National Championship Runoffs here in Monterey, California. For Randy Popes and Hayward Wagner, I'm Rick Benjamin. Greg and Jeff will be right back with more of our coverage of the 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs.
The 2014 SCCA National Championship Runoffs are being brought to you in HD by Mazda. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. And by Hankook, driving emotion.
Some people go to enormous lengths in the name of safety, like the inventor of the flame-resistant racing suit, Bill Simpson. Courageous engineering is also the Mazda way, and why the 2014 Mazda 3 has an available class-exclusive suite of 8 safety features and a top safety rating. Because when it comes to safety, you can never go too far. This is the 2014 Mazda 3. What do you drive?
This is Kenny. Kenny is a dentist, but he races autocross on the weekends. But he's not thinking about his tires right now. Kenny buys all his tires from TireRack.com. Using their exclusive test track reviews, he knows he's always getting the right tires for his car. But Kenny's not thinking about tires right now. Kenny's thinking, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. This is awesome. TireRack.com, proud sponsor of the Tire Rack SCCA National Solo Program.
Machines and their manufacturers span the planet. This is no spec series. Diversity breeds excellence and brings battle. Ride with the best and test the iconic circuits of North America. No pit stops,